Victoria seethed with anger, directed squarely at me, her husband Oscar Kelly. It was unmistakable, evident in her tense posture as she wedged herself into the far corner of the car seat on our drive back from Ella and Charlie Sanders' party. Her deep frown spoke volumes. And truth be told, she had every right to be furious with me. I had single-handedly sabotaged her evening, leaving me feeling utterly remorseful for publicly embarrassing my wife of 7 years and the mother of our 3 children. My blunder was monumental, and I couldn't shake the guilt. So, what had I done to warrant such disdain? Well, let's just say the Sanders knew how to throw a lively gathering, and Victoria, on a whim, had wanted to join in. I, however, wasn't keen on the idea. While we'd never attended one of their parties before, Victoria had managed to secure an invite through a distant connection. What she failed to mention was the unconventional nature of this particular soiree. You see, prior notice would have been helpful, considering the party's unconventional tradition. All wives were expected to deposit their house keys into a bowl, with husbands blindly selecting 1 key each. The chosen couple would then retreat to the master suite for an evening of decidedly non-innocent activities. As the realization dawned on me amidst the party's dwindling hours, panic set in. Never before had I been so incensed with Victoria. I grasped her arm firmly and guided her into the kitchen, my frustration boiling over. "Did you have any inkling that this is how the night would end?" I demanded. She met my gaze with a sly smirk. "Oh, I knew," she admitted. "And you didn't think to clue me in beforehand?" "Nope, because I knew you'd refuse unless forced," she retorted. "I most certainly would refuse. I'd always have a choice. Let's go," I insisted, my resolve unwavering. "We can't just leave now. It wouldn't be polite. You'll embarrass me, and besides, it's just for 1 night. It'll inject some excitement into our marriage," she pleaded. "I can do without that kind of excitement." "Let's leave," I countered. "We need this, Oscar. I need it, just for 1 night. I want to be more than just a wife and mother. It's only 1 night, and it won't happen again. Plus, I've already put our key in the bowl, so we can't back out now," she reasoned desperately. "No way. It's not too late," I asserted firmly, seizing her arm and leading her back into the living room, where a crowd had gathered around a bowl of keys, ready to pick their partners for the night. Despite her resistance, I released her and approached the bowl. This aspect of the party was conveniently left out of the invitation. I declared loudly, "I refuse to share my wife with any of you." I sifted through the keys until I found ours, identified by its red plastic cover, and held it up for all to see. I wasn't informed about this arrangement beforehand. I don't condone cheating, and my marriage vows mean everything to me. Some grumbled discontentedly and shot me angry glances, but I paid them no mind. Turning to my wife, who was seething beside me, I delivered an ultimatum. "Victoria, you have a decision to make right now. Come with me, forget this madness, or stay here and never come home again. I'm leaving." All eyes swiveled to my wife, her face flushed with embarrassment. She hesitated briefly before speaking up. "I apologize for my husband's actions. As much as I'd like to stay, I think it's best we leave under the circumstances," she announced, her tone tinged with anger and reluctance. As we made our way out to the car, she unleashed her frustration. "You're such a selfish jerk," she lashed out. "How could you embarrass me like that in front of everyone? We'll never get invited back there again." "Embarrass you, Victoria? What about how you embarrassed me by keeping your plans to be with someone else tonight a secret?" I retorted. "But you would have been with another wife too, so we both would have had fun," she argued. "I don't want to be with another woman, Victoria. I reserve that for you. And it's unsettling to hear, after 7 years of marriage, that you want to be with someone else," I countered firmly. "It would have been just this once, Oscar. After being a good wife for 7 years, isn't that reasonable?" she pleaded. "No, Victoria, it's not. I can't believe what I'm hearing. But clearly, This means a lot to you, doesn't it? I asked, trying to understand. Yes, Oscar, it does. I've been anticipating this for weeks. It's my chance to be more than just a wife and mother, to have an adventure, to feel admired, and to enjoy some fun with another man for a few hours, she confessed earnestly. Do you really mean to spend the night with someone other than me? I asked, the words feeling heavy on my tongue. Well, that's quite straightforward, but yes, she replied casually. I slammed on the brakes, made a swift turn in the street, and raced back to the Sanders house. Victoria screamed as I maneuvered the car. What are you doing, Oscar? She demanded, panic creeping into her voice. If spending a night with another man means that much to you, Victoria, then go ahead and do it, I said sharply, stopping the car in front of their house. Looks like you're not too late to join in. Get out, enjoy your night with some random guy. I hope he satisfies you in ways I can't. Oscar, it's just something new, an adventure. You're perfect for me. But you know, I can't go in there alone. We both have to participate, each with a new partner, she pleaded. I've already made my stance clear. I want no part of it, Victoria. I've never cheated on you and won't until we're not married anymore, I declared firmly. What does that mean? She asked, confusion evident in her voice. It means exactly what I said. It's decision time for you, Victoria. So if you're going for it, go be with your cheating friends. They'll definitely welcome a beautiful woman like you into their little scheme, even without her husband, I said bitterly. Victoria reached for the door handle, then hesitated, deep in thought. Would you pick me up tomorrow morning, Oscar? You know, from wherever I end up. I'll call and let you know, she asked softly, her tone now tinged with uncertainty. Not a chance, but I'm sure your new guy will give you a ride after spending the night with you, I replied coldly. You're making it sound so awful, Oscar. You won't be my lover, just someone I'm getting close to for one night. I love you, Oscar. You're the only man for me, she insisted, her voice pleading. Do you truly believe that? There's no way you could love me and do what you're planning. Let me get this straight. You just want someone new for intimacy, right? You want a new guy to fulfill you? I questioned sharply. That's harsh, Oscar. You know I'm on birth control, so I will get pregnant. It's just one night with someone new. It'll be thrilling. Ever wondered what it's like to be with someone different? Just a new experience with different emotions. Everything fresh. Trust me, it'll spice things up for us. Enjoy your time with someone new, she said, her words falling heavy between us. Victoria, I hope you understand the gravity of what you're doing, I implored. It's just one night, Oscar. That's not too much to ask, she reasoned. Even a moment is too much, I insisted. We have the rest of our lives together, she countered. We won't have anything together if you go through with this, I rebutted. You're blowing this out of proportion, Oscar. I won't let you ruin this night for me. I just want a little time with someone new, and you're not going to stop me. I'm going through with it, and you need to accept it. Tomorrow morning, I'll be back, and I'll make you forget all about this, she declared firmly. Tomorrow, you'll be in the past. I won't desire you anymore after. You've let another man have what I thought was mine alone, I lamented. Now you're being ridiculous. I belong to you, and you'll still want me. I'll make sure of that, she insisted. Victoria, listen to me. If you go back into that house, we're done. Your one night will cost you your marriage and your family, I warned. No, Oscar, it won't. We're married, and we'll stay that way. We're meant to be together. I love you, and I know you love me. We'll get through this. I promise I'll make it right, she reassured. You're breaking my heart, Victoria, I confessed. Don't be so dramatic. Think of it as sending me on an adventure, she brushed off. It's an adventure for you, but it's the end for us, I replied solemnly. Stop talking nonsense, she snapped. Oscar, I'll change your mind in the morning, she insisted. You know, how do you really think I'd touch you after you spent the night with someone else? I questioned. You'll touch me, Oscar, and much more. I'll make sure of it, she asserted confidently. God, I never realized how foolish you are. Get out, I said, my words surprising her. She opened the car door and began to step out. I'll see you tomorrow morning, Oscar, she said sadly. No, Victoria, you won't, I sighed, shaking my head inside. As soon as she pushed the door to close it, I slammed the accelerator and tore away, leaving skid marks for half a block. Glancing at her in the rearview mirror as I sped down the street, I saw her expression, completely shocked. Standing there on the curb, mouth agape, she hadn't moved when I turned the corner, and she disappeared from sight. I hoped she would call me immediately, admitting she was wrong and asking me to come back for her. But the call never came. Perhaps she thought I'd be upset for a couple of days, then she could smooth things over by bringing me to bed. Well, she was dead wrong. My dad always said that if a woman was considering cheating, she'd already mentally crossed that line. And if a married woman was seriously contemplating it, she'd already broken her vows. It's one thing to admire someone, but if she's actively plotting how to make it happen, she's already betrayed you as much as it hurts. Our marriage was over, and it was time to move forward. The real tragedy lay in our 3 kids, 7-year-old Emma, 6-year-old Charlotte, and 4-year-old Oscar Jr. How could I imagine life without them every day? But I couldn't let Victoria's actions slide without consequences. The kids were with my mom for the weekend, giving me time to figure out my next steps. I drove around aimlessly for a while, still holding out hope that Victoria would call and ask me to pick her up. But it became increasingly clear that she had made up her mind. Having finally settled on a plan, I headed home. Just as I pulled into the driveway, my phone rang. I hoped it was Victoria, calling to ask me to come get her. I answered anyway, but instead of her voice, there was loud music and laughter in the background, and a man spoke. Hey, Oscar, it's Henry Price from the party. Your wife left me your number. She's hoping I can talk some sense into you. She's really excited about tonight and wants you to be a part of it too. You're a lucky guy. Every guy here hopes they'll get her key. She keeps saying someone's in for a memorable night. Come back and join us. There are some hot ladies here eager to have fun with you. Go to hell, Henry Price. You manipulative bastard. I spat, seething with anger. And screw everyone else at your party, including my cheating wife. I hope you all suffer horrible fates. I hung up and went inside. It took me less than 30 minutes to pack 2 suitcases with enough clothes for a week or 2. Grabbing my laptop and shaving kit, I loaded everything into the car. I searched for a wedding license, tore it into pieces, then smashed my wedding ring with a hammer. It took a few hits to flatten it, but once I did, I placed the pieces on Victoria's pillow, locked the door, and drove off into the night. I aimed to find a motel a few miles outside of town, but first, I swung by the Sanders place again. Some cars had already departed from the party, and a few people were outside chatting as they paired up for the night. Not spotting Victoria, I assumed she had either left with her new partner or was with Mr. Sanders himself. The motel I settled on was in the next town over. It wasn't fancy, but it had back parking that would keep my car out of sight if anyone happened to be looking for it. After securing the car, I bought a 6-pack of Camels from the convenience store next door and decided to watch some TV. The first 2 beers helped calm me down. As I opened the third, my phone rang. It was Victoria, but I knew she wasn't calling for me to pick her up, so I let it go to voicemail. Oscar, you're being dramatic about this, her voice said. Henry Price told me what you said to him. I've told you countless times, it's just one night. I'm just trying something new with one guy, and that doesn't make me a bad person, I promise. Even if I'm a little sore, I'll make it up to you when I get home tomorrow. Oh, and since you took our house key out of the bowl, they made a new one for me. The guy who got it is named Lucas, and he seems nice. He's married with kids like us. Since you're at our house, I went home with him. His wife and her partner for the night are here too, but they're in a different part of the house, far enough away that we won't hear each other when things get heated. You know how loud I can be when we're together, she giggled. Listen, I know you're upset, but I promise I won't let him do anything. I told Lucas we should keep it simple, you know, maybe just some regular stuff, she continued. Lucas agreed, especially since it's my first time with someone else. He said he'll drop me off tomorrow, and I'll make sure to clean up before I come home. No sloppy seconds for you. Sweet dreams, lover. See you in the morning. Get ready for some fun. Love you, Oscar. Nausea churned in my stomach. I never realized I was married to such a foolish woman. Sure, Victoria had always been a bit clueless, but that was part of her charm. Now her cluelessness was glaringly apparent, and it had cost her our marriage, and perhaps even her kids. There was no way I could fathom taking her back after she let some guy have her and flaunted it in my face. I was certain everyone at the party had a good laugh at my expense. Anger, hurt, and embarrassment surged through me, yet my wife couldn't care less. Though I knew I should have ignored her message, I couldn't bring myself to do it. I called her back, and she picked up after the third ring. Hey honey, Lucas, and I just got comfy in bed, so I can't talk long, she chirped. Shut up, Victoria, I snapped. This might be the last time you hear from me. You don't realize what you've done, but you'll find out soon enough. Enjoy your time with Lucas, because the consequences will be worse than you can imagine. Understand this, Victoria. Once Lucas touches you, our marriage is done. Do you hear me? Done. I never thought I'd say it, but I hate you more right now than I ever loved you. I can't wait to be done with you completely. My lawyer will contact you next week. With that, I hung up. Within 30 seconds, she called again. I let it go to voicemail once more. Oscar, she sounded on the verge of tears. Why are you acting like this? How could you say those things to me? I'm your wife. Can't you just let me have this one night? Lucas, and I just started, and now you're ruining it for me. I don't know if I can enjoy being with him. I'll be home in the morning, and we can talk this out. I'd come home now, but I promised Lucas I'd stay with him tonight. Please understand, I have to do this. He got my key, and I promised him he could have me. He really wants it now. Okay, right now. As I'm talking to you, I have to go. Lucas is ready to. He's ready. I love you, Oscar. I'll always love you. Please don't say our marriage is over when I do this with him. I can't help it. Honey, he's already here. Oh God, please. Oh yes, please. Try to understand. I heard her whisper to him. Oh yeah, Lucas, this is my night. See you in the morning, darling. Unable to resist, I called her back again, but this time it rang several times before going to voicemail. It's clear that Lucas is with my wife, so I left a message from your last voicemail. I can tell Lucas is already with you, and you're enjoying it. You can spend the night with him, experiencing all the new sensations he's giving you, Victoria. You shattered my heart, and I'll never forgive you. It's great that you could keep your promise to Lucas, a man you just met, but you couldn't keep your marriage vows to me, who's loved you and stayed faithful for over 7 years. I don't even recognize you anymore. You won't see me in the morning, and you might never see me again. But you'll receive divorce papers next week, and I'll be charging you with adultery. Now that Lucas is doing what only I should be allowed to do, you're officially a cheater. You can cheat with any man you want from now on. But in case you care, you lost me forever, and I'll definitely keep that promise. Victoria didn't return my call. I know how absorbed she gets during intimacy. She enters a world where nothing else matters except her. And the man she's with, they were completely focused on each other by now. I'm not sure she got my last message, but it doesn't matter. The damage is done, and our marriage is finished. There's no way I'll ever take her back after she disrespected and humiliated me like that, making a mockery of our marriage. I finished the rest of the 6-pack. Victoria was loud. That's how she was with me. I'm sure she's the same with Lucas. Anyway, the beer helped, and I eventually fell asleep, tears still streaming down my face. I woke up about 5 hours later, and reality hit me hard. My wife had taken a lover, and now I needed to figure out how to protect my kids, get her out of my life, and make everyone at that party as miserable as possible. We reside in Williamsville, Mississippi, a picturesque town. Since Mississippi permits divorce on grounds of adultery, I could potentially avoid paying alimony and even secure custody of my children. I urgently needed a top-notch lawyer. At 7:45, after taking a shower and changing clothes, I called my mother to update her on the situation. She was just as surprised as I was. She had the kids for the weekend and assured me she wouldn't discuss anything with them. I informed her that I'd pick them up. With a plan forming in my mind, I assumed Victoria would likely gain custody, at least for now. It's difficult to acknowledge, but she has been a good mother and wife until last night. After ending the call with my mom, I headed to a nearby diner for breakfast. As I parked and made my way to the entrance, my phone rang. It was Victoria. I debated whether to answer, but ultimately let it go to voicemail. Surprisingly, she didn't leave a message. She kept calling repeatedly until she finally left a voicemail, sobbing. "Oscar, answer the damn phone. Talk to me. What do you mean you may never see me again? And what's all this talk about divorce papers? You can't leave me, Oscar. We have 3 precious kids who need us both. Why did you tear up our marriage license and smash your wedding ring? I gave you that ring on our wedding day, and you promised to wear it forever. It's a symbol of our eternal love. I knew you'd be a bit upset with me, but I never expected you to go this far, Oscar. I love you deeply, but I really needed that special night with Lucas. It meant a lot to me. He made me feel alive and young again. I forgot how exhilarating it is to laugh and scream at the same time. But as incredible as last night was, you're the only man for me, Oscar. I know how to make it up to you and ease your hurt feelings. Please come home so I can show you how much I love you and make things right." She started crying, and it was hard to make out her words. "Oscar, why can't you see? I just needed one night with someone new to feel desired and wanted again. It felt amazing to know another man desired me and found me beautiful enough to want me. Please, Oscar, try to understand. It was just a moment. Nothing more. Please talk to me. I love you, and our kids mean everything to me." Her voice grew weaker. "It was just an act, Oscar. Oh God, we just had intimacy. That's all, Oscar." She continued sobbing until the message ended. Standing outside the diner, I was completely stunned. Had Victoria been harboring these feelings throughout our entire marriage, and now in her mid-30s, they suddenly surfaced? Victoria is still as beautiful as ever, standing at 33, weighing 130 olds with dark blonde hair that falls to her shoulders and light blue eyes. She has a fantastic figure. Her breasts aren't too big or too small, and while her hips may be a bit wider after having 3 kids, she still turns heads wherever she goes. So, what's this nonsense about needing to feel desired by another man? I've always shown her how much I love and desire her. I surprise her with flowers, take her out on dates at least once a week, and tell her every day how beautiful she is and how much I love her. Until last night, our bed. Life had been amazing, or so I thought. We made love at least 3 times a week, and I always made sure she had 1 or more orgasms. What did I miss? I'd lost my appetite, but I went into the diner anyway. I found an empty table and ordered scrambled eggs, toast, and black coffee. I barely touched my breakfast, but drank at least 6 cups of coffee. I'd never felt so lost. In my life, I'd heard people say they wished they were dead, and now I understood what they meant. The only thing keeping me going was the thought of my children. I had to live for them. I had to navigate through this living nightmare that Victoria had created and build a future for them. That thought alone filled me with determination. I would persevere. I just needed to figure out how. Victoria called my phone about 30 times that day, but I always let it go to voicemail. She pleaded with me to understand. but not once did she apologize for her actions. She never admitted to making a mistake. Instead, she insisted that she needed that one night and that it was my responsibility to support her. They only had intimacy 3 times that night, and once more in the morning. She mentioned being worried that she hadn't turned her phone off in time. And I might have overheard them the first time, right? As Lucas did his job, she hoped I hadn't heard too much. She really knew how to deeply hurt me. I couldn't believe she could be so foolish. However, on the bright side, I now had solid audio evidence of her infidelity to use against her in court. While I wasn't sure if it would be sufficient, the recordings were very convincing and left no room for doubt. I planned to find a good lawyer the next day and gather all the necessary information. I visited my children at my mom's place. My mom informed me that Victoria had already called to check on the kids and inquire about my whereabouts. Upset by what had occurred, I expressed my reluctance to see or speak to Victoria. Apparently, Victoria started crying, claiming I didn't understand. Mom told her that no man would comprehend a wife flaunting an affair in her husband's face. Victoria then asked if she should pick up the kids, but Mom suggested it might be best for them to stay a few more days until things calmed down. The kids were thrilled to see me, but were curious about their mom's absence. I explained that she was busy with something important to her, and that they would be staying with Grandma a bit longer. We played games and had dinner together before I hugged and kissed them goodbye and returned to my motel. Tomorrow was going to be a hectic day before calling it a night, but I had one more thing to do, more like a quick drive-by. As soon as I spotted my house, tears welled up again, knowing what was lost was gone forever. Seeing only the kitchen light on downstairs made me think Victoria was alone, at least for tonight. And then it hit me. I still had feelings for her. No, I wouldn't take her back after what she did, but it pained me deeply to imagine her betraying me with another man. I tried to resist the urge to spy on her, but I gave in. Parking a block away, I walked back to peek through the kitchen window. She sat at the table, an empty bottle of Grey Goose beside her. Her hair was messy, mascara streaks down her face, and she wore a robe, resting her head on the table with her eyes closed. It was clear she'd been crying, surrounded by a pile of tissues. For a moment, I felt sorry for her, but then I remembered her betrayal, and my sympathy vanished. I wanted to lash out, but instead, I walked back to my car and drove off. There was a hint of satisfaction. Maybe she was starting to realize the gravity of her actions. If she wanted pity, she could call her lover Lucas. Monday arrived early. I had a busy agenda at the diner. I had eggs, toast, and coffee, and this time I finished everything. After that, I called my mom and talked to each of my kids, reassuring them of my love and promising to see them soon. Then I contacted work and informed my former executive assistant that I'd be handling personal matters for the next couple of days, letting her know she could call or text me if anything urgent came up. She sensed something was wrong. But I didn't elaborate, promising to explain later. Back during my final year of studies, I shared an apartment with 2 good friends, Noel and Liam. We'd formed a strong bond, and though we don't see each other often, we've stayed connected over the years. My major was in computer science, Noel studied business administration, and Liam pursued a career in law. I called Noel first and asked if both of them could meet me for drinks around 5. I needed their advice on a serious matter, and Noel agreed to reach out to Liam. We arranged to meet at the evening bar by the beach. I arrived early, and shortly after 6, Liam joined us, followed by Noel 15 minutes later. We greeted each other warmly and found a table on the patio, ordering drinks and raising a toast. "What's going on, Oscar?" Noel inquired. "Your call sounded serious. Victoria cheated on me and made sure I knew about it." I confided, then proceeded to tell them the whole story. "Dang, that's rough," Noel exclaimed. "I can't even wrap my head around her doing something like that," Liam chimed in. "Same here, but she went ahead, no shame or regret. And she still thinks I'm overreacting. Can you believe that?" So, what's your plan? Liam inquired. I want a divorce and I want to teach Lucas a lesson, whoever he is, along with the other jerks at the party. But more than anything, I want to fight for custody of my kids. Getting custody might not be simple, Oscar, Liam cautioned, unless she's been a neglectful mother. If she's bringing random guys home and having affairs while the kids are there, then you might have a case. Otherwise, if she's generally a good mom, she'll likely get custody and you'll be on the hook for child support. I can handle that as long as I can still spend time with them whenever I want, I replied. That's feasible, Liam nodded. The courts usually prefer both parents involved in raising the kids, if they're both fit parents. What about finances? No, asked. Victoria stays home with the kids, and you're likely making a good 6-figure salary. What's in your accounts? Checking, savings, investments, 401 KUS. I've got all of that. And when you add it up, it's probably around 600 or 700 grand. Maybe a bit more, I explained. The court will likely split that evenly, give her a share in the house and custody. But if you can prove she cheated, which seems like you've got a good case, you might not have to pay alimony, Liam explained. Do you happen to know a really good divorce lawyer? As a matter of fact, one of the partners at my firm is one of the top family law attorneys in Mississippi. Her name is Nancy Bennett. Want me to set up a meeting for you? Absolutely. The sooner, the better, I replied. In the meantime, No suggested, I'll see what I can do to safeguard some of your finances. Send me all the details on every dollar you've got, and I'll start working on it. We raised our glasses once more, had a couple more drinks, and bid each other good night. I felt a sense of relief wash over me as I drove back to my motel, my mind buzzing with the tasks ahead. Just then, my phone rang. It was Victoria. After a moment's hesitation, I pulled over to answer. What's up, Victoria? I asked, getting straight to the point. What do you want? I want you, Oscar. I want my husband back home, where he belongs. I could hear the tears in her voice. Well, unfortunately for you, your little escapade with Lucas makes it impossible for me to ever come back home again. I replied firmly. She burst into tears. Don't say that, Oscar. Don't you dare. It was just one night away from you after 7 years, and that's not enough for a divorce. Think again. Adultery is definitely grounds for divorce in Mississippi. Why do you keep calling it adultery? It was just one night with someone new. Just a fling, she pleaded. When a married woman sleeps with someone new, whether it's for a night or a second, it's adultery. I warned you the moment Lucas got with you, and I meant every word. Oh God, please, Oscar. You can't do this to me. Victoria, what happened to you? Are you on pills? Did you have a mental breakdown, or are you just unbelievably foolish? It seems like you were so fixated on the idea of being with another man that you didn't care about our kids, or what I wanted. You just had to do it. Well, you did, and now you have to face the consequences. I believe we had built a truly happy life together, with a nice home, 3 wonderful kids, and a loving relationship. But you shattered it all by sleeping with a stranger and flaunting it in my face. You were happy, Oscar, you argue. We had a happy life. I just wanted to explore what it would be like to be with someone else for one night, just to experience something new without causing any harm. That's all, no harm intended. You fail to understand the immense damage you've caused in just one night. Your selfishness has completely destroyed our family, leaving our lives in irreparable pieces. First and foremost, Victoria, you've broken my heart by disregarding my feelings. Remember me, your husband, the one who has loved you unconditionally since the day we met. The man who works tirelessly every day to provide the life you desire for you and the kids. You betrayed our vows, made a decade ago, where you pledged your body to me in front of our families, friends, and before God. Yet, last night, you made it clear that you would do as you please, disregarding my pleas. Essentially, you told me to go to hell, insisting on doing whatever you wanted without considering my feelings. I never meant to hurt you, Oscar. I genuinely didn't realize the extent of the pain I would cause. I just wanted to explore something new, and I love you. It wasn't about disregarding you, but I see now that I made a grave mistake by ignoring your feelings completely. My night with Lucas was selfishly about me, with no consideration for you or our children. I felt like I deserved a special moment just for myself. Well, congratulations to me, I got that special moment. But it came at the cost of our marriage and likely tarnished my reputation with family and friends. Perhaps one day you'll forgive me, but I understand that you'll never forget. And you'll ensure everyone knows what I've done. You called me childish for being upset about your infidelity. Let's see how you handle it when everyone knows you willingly engaged in intimacy with Lucas, not once, but 4 times, pleasuring each other twice. Oh, please, Oscar, you can't do that. My parents would be devastated. I'm sorry, Victoria, but you should have considered that before acting. You made your choices, and now you have to face the consequences. You seem to trivialize your actions, as if it's akin to a minor offense like a traffic ticket or forgetting to return a library book. You threw away a solid 7-year marriage with someone who deeply cared for you, all for a fleeting encounter with a stranger. Was it worth sacrificing your family for? I never imagined I'd lose everything, Oscar. I thought you'd love me enough to understand and support me. But no rational person would condone their spouse having an affair simply because they wanted something new for a night. It doesn't work that way, and you should have known better. What were you thinking, Victoria? What led you to do this? I never imagined it would affect you this deeply. Seriously, Oscar, what's the harm in me being with another guy a few times? It doesn't change anything between us. It's still yours waiting for you. What I did with Lucas doesn't diminish my love for you. I heard about couples swapping partners at the Sanders, and it intrigued me. Why shouldn't a husband or wife have a night with a stranger, someone safe, and enjoy it? I wanted to try something new just once, and then I'd fully commit to you again. But you see it as a lack of respect. I pleaded with you not to, but you went ahead anyway, excluding me from something we shared for over 7 years. Those vows meant the world to me. The bond between us brought 3 wonderful children into our lives who adore us. We were a family, devoted to each other. But now, you share the part of you that created those kids with someone else. And for what? A fleeting thrill, a one-night fling you expect me to move on from. But to me, it's a complete betrayal of our family, our promises, and any respect you once had for me. You wanted someone else, and now you've got it. But in doing so, Victoria, you've thrown away everything we cherished. Part of me still cares, but I can't continue this. Why are you so stubborn, Oscar? Can't you see? It was something I needed. Nothing's changed between us. Everything's different now. Victoria, you're no longer mine alone. I begged you not to do this. I can't just forgive and forget. You betrayed me, and that's a wound that won't heal. Tomorrow, I'm getting a lawyer and filing for divorce, citing your adultery. I'll name Lucas and everyone else involved. Imagine the fallout when your friends discover you're responsible for their social circle falling apart. Go to hell, Victoria, and take your flings with you. The moment I entered Nancy Bennett's office, I sensed I'd finally found the right attorney to navigate the mess my life had become. She was direct and no-nonsense, wasting no time in delving into the heart of the matter. She wanted to understand why I was seeking a divorce and what outcomes I hoped to achieve. I outlined my expectations, expressing a willingness to divide assets with Victoria, potentially offering her our home in lieu of a larger cash settlement. While I acknowledged that winning full custody of my children was improbable, I insisted on unrestricted access and sought to avoid alimony payments. I presented the audio evidence of Victoria's affair, where she admitted her involvement with Lucas on multiple occasions. Miss Bennett shook her head incredulously, finding it difficult to fathom my wife's recklessness in confessing such actions in voicemails that could be used against her in court. She explained that we might require a voice recognition expert to confirm the authenticity of the recordings, but barring an unreasonable judge, they should be admissible as evidence. The remainder of the hour was spent discussing my objectives concerning Lucas and the others involved in the wife-swapping party, while Miss Bennet doubted our ability to secure monetary compensation from them. She proposed a strategy to publicly expose their activities and embarrass them enough to inflict damage. I agreed that such an outcome would suffice for me. After paying her retainer fee, I requested that she promptly serve Victoria with the divorce papers. She assured me that the process wouldn't be prolonged and promised to keep me informed every step of the way. Tuesday afternoon, I retrieved my kids from my mum's and brought them back to Susan's house. She greeted them with warmth, embracing and kissing them tenderly. When she reached out to me, I instinctively stepped back, causing her eyes to well up with tears as she pleaded for me to stay. I explained that I couldn't, but I believed it was in the children's best interest to be with her, planning to pick them up again on Friday for the weekend. Although Victoria appeared to be struggling, I couldn't help but feel a sense of detachment. She had brought this upon herself, and her turmoil couldn't compare to the anguish I was enduring due to her actions. Wednesday marked my return to work. I knew I couldn't afford to neglect my job. It served as more than just a source of income, providing a much-needed mental distraction. Dwelling too deeply on the pain and self-pity stemming from Victoria's betrayal threatened to consume me, something I couldn't allow for the sake of my children. On Thursday evening, I met up with Noah and Liam once again, this time for dinner at the Shell Oyster House. We indulged in their fire-roasted, hand-cooked oysters and sipped on dirty martinis, savouring the moments of camaraderie amidst the chaos of my personal life. Over our meal, I brought Noah and Liam up to speed on my kids and the divorce proceedings. Noah had delved into ways to safeguard some of my finances, and I gave him the green light to proceed. While it might not amount to much immediately, it could prove beneficial in the long run. Together, we hashed out a straightforward strategy to stir up trouble within the wife swap club without risking legal repercussions. Liam mentioned having a friend who worked as a reporter for the local newspaper. He proposed that if I provided him with the Sanders address and the meeting times of the wife-swapping group, he could uncover the identities of some participants. His idea involved writing an editorial hinting at the prevalence of wife-swapping in Williamsville, subtly implicating certain business owners without explicitly naming them. Additionally, he suggested obtaining photos of couples entering and leaving the meetings to generate enough controversy to disrupt the group's activities. With Liam now on board to kickstart the investigation, we bid our farewells, planning to reconvene soon. The weekend with my kids was nothing short of wonderful. We went shopping for new clothes, enjoyed a Disney movie marathon, and spent an entire day at the beach, splashing around and playing frisbee. Their happiness was my utmost priority, and I made a solemn vow to always be there for them, no matter what. Monday morning, Lion called with news that his friend at the newspaper was keen on the story idea and was strategizing ways to capture photos of the couples entering and leaving the Sanders house, even if their identities were obscured. In a tight-knit community like ours, word would spread fast. With luck, the story could make headlines by week's end. I remained cautiously optimistic. Meanwhile, Victoria persisted with her calls, pleading for my return home, making promises to set things right. Yet she never uttered an apology or acknowledged her wrongdoing. On Wednesday, my lawyer confirmed that Victoria would be served with the divorce papers at our home on Friday morning. Additionally, No shared a method to protect a portion of my assets by placing them under my kids' names. Then, Liam rang to report that his contact had uncovered plans for the swinging couples to reconvene at the Sanders residence on Friday night. He intended to surveil the area from an inconspicuous van across the street, snapping photos and potentially interviewing me for the upcoming article. With each development, a sense of relief washed over me. When Friday finally arrived, I anticipated Victoria's reaction to receiving the divorce papers. As expected, my lawyer confirmed her receipt shortly after. Moments later, my phone buzzed again, displaying Victoria's name on the caller ID. Curious about her intentions, I debated letting it go to voicemail, but ultimately decided to answer. "What's going on?" I greeted her, bracing for whatever followed. What on earth did you do, Oscar? Victoria's tone was anything but friendly. I filed for divorce, just like I said I would, I replied, holding firm to my decision. But I told you there wouldn't be divorce, and you filed for adultery. Spending one night with another man isn't adultery, she argued. Victoria, according to Mississippi law, having intimacy with someone other than your spouse is considered adultery. And Lucas definitely had that with you, I explained calmly, though tears welled up in her eyes. Why are you being so cruel, Oscar? I love you. All Lucas did was have intimacy with me a few times. It was just a fling, she pleaded. Ah, my mistake, Victoria. I must have misunderstood that having intimacy outside of marriage isn't adultery. How could I have gotten that wrong? I retorted, frustration creeping into my voice. Let it go, Victoria. It's done. I warned you countless times and pleaded with you not to do it, but you did it anyway. Now you have to face the consequences. And soon enough, you'll realize that your troubles aren't over yet. Goodbye, Victoria. Have a miserable life, I concluded before hanging up. The toughest part was that I still have feelings for Victoria. Maybe I always would, but I couldn't trust her anymore. And I couldn't stay married to someone who cheated. I knew I shouldn't go to the Sanders on Friday night, but I couldn't resist driving by once to see what was going on. I also wanted to check if Victoria's car was there, even though I doubted she'd attend the party this time. Her car wasn't there, but she could have gone with someone else. They'd usually only allowed couples, but they made an exception for her once, so who's to say they wouldn't do it again? I spotted a van parked across the street, likely where the reporter was. I wished him luck in exposing them. Results came quickly. The next afternoon, Lime's reporter friend called asking for some insider information, which I gladly provided. He mentioned he took over 70 photos and recognized over a dozen prominent couples from the city. Oddly, they weren't the same couples seen leaving the residence 3 hours later. Liam had given him a photo of my wife, and he confirmed she wasn't among those entering or leaving the Vanderlinks' house. He wanted me to describe what I saw and experienced when I was inside the home during one of the key parties. I did my best to explain how the keys were placed into a bowl, even though I never witnessed the part where men picked a key and left with the woman it belonged to. I got a good idea of what happened from my wife's description and overhearing other couples' conversations about past parties. Before we ended the call, he asked if he could hint that he knew of a marriage that ended because of the parties, leaving kids to deal with their parents' divorce. I said he could, as long as no names were mentioned. The article came out in the Sunday edition of the paper, causing quite a stir. It was front-page news, with a large photo of couples entering and leaving, their faces blurred. The story continued for 4 more pages, with many additional photos. Despite efforts to hide faces, it was easy to identify participants from their cars and clothes. As they were prominent members of Williamsville society by Monday, the story was the talk of the town. Several ministers were interviewed about the decline in morality, and civic leaders condemned the situation. Lawsuits were filed, but nothing came of them. Some businesses lost customers, and many couples ended up in divorce court. To me, it was all amusing, a fitting payback for the pain I endured from losing my wife and family. Even if people realized I was cheated on, I didn't care. I had my revenge, and that was all that mattered. Victoria kept trying to win me back for months, but I was firm in my decision. The divorce went through, and I got joint custody of our kids. We split the time with them. When I have them for the month, Victoria gets them on weekends, and vice versa. It's not ideal, but we're managing. Since Victoria didn't contest anything in the divorce, I decided not to share the recordings of her confessing her affair with her family or friends. As for the couples involved in the key parties, some ended up divorcing and leaving town. Friends, I look forward to your comments on this story. All the best.